Hey, how are you? So, this is an intro to the L2R West connection. And if you're familiar with the channel, you know that L2R just stands for Lake to River. If this is your first time here, the ability to connect the top and the bottom of the state with one waterway disappeared after all the canals were destroyed. So, what I've done over the last several years I've connected the top of the state to the bottom using different rivers. Some flow north, some flow south. The one you're about to see on the western side, I put in at Wapakoneta on the Auglaize River, took that out to the Maumee, took the Maumee out to the lake, and then pulled the kayak from Wapakoneta over to Indian Lake, where the Great Miami starts, and then took the Great Miami down to the Ohio River. And wasn't really planning on putting in 1,000 miles of rivers, but years ago I wanted to do a river, get off of flat water paddling, and put in the Tuscaroras several times. Spent a night on the river, did a 5-day through paddle on the Muskegum. I was hooked with just being on the river and the river life, everything that it encompasses. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Little bit of a backstory. You could check out the L2R Central Connection Day 1, Part 1. Gives you a little history of how all of this really began, the story of following water. So hope you enjoy the videos and maybe catch you on the river. So this is Hammond Park in Wapakoneta. The Auglaize River. I was going to put in at Belcher Park, but then this dam is just like 0.6 of a mile west of where I would have put in. So instead of bothering trying to get out here and around the dam, I just decided to come down this 0.6 of a mile to put in. So, a little tricky. Definitely if you got any physical challenges. But, good enough path. Alright, you in, Ricky? Alright, good to go. We got about a 2 mile per hour flow right now. Swing left, there's a collection of rocks over on the right. This section probably is never able to be paddled without rain. Really nice through this stretch. Just saw a muskrat and a deer right behind us, waiting to see if any other deer were crossing with it, but it was solo. I love to just listen to the birds. Still pretty close to civilization. What is swimming right in front of me? Is that a muskrat or is that a beaver? That's a beaver. I see that. I see the branch in its mouth. Did you see them that time? Yeah, they are beaver. So that family must be here because that's the second young one that we've seen. And I wasn't sure at first, but then when I saw him carrying that shoot from that willow tree.
Yes.
This is a nice section. See that deer crossing straight ahead of me? So this is the Glenwood Road Dam, I think it's called. Come out of really nice woods. Reminded again of civilization. Hey, how we doing? Good. Hey, is this Glenwood Road?
This is Glenwood.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's a beautiful stretch of woods back through there, man.
Oh, you put in over there at the dam?
At where?
At the dam?
We put in at the dam, yeah.
I was gonna say, we were parked there. I think you guys had 2 dogs?
No,
It wasn't you guys? Okay.
No. Why, they have a couple kayaks?
I thought they were unloading.
Oh, okay. Maybe they'll catch up with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful back there.
You guys doing any fishing?
No, I have a fishing license, I just haven't got around to fish yet. Usually if I got a free minute, I'm in my boat somewhere.
Have you fished this before?
No, first time I've been on this river.
Smallmouth.
Yeah?
The biggest one I've caught is like 21 inches.
Really?
Yeah, in that area.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of rock bass.
Nice.
And this stretch right here, all the way to the other side of Buckland is awesome fishing, guys.
Oh, no kidding. Have to check it out then. Hey, have a good day. Whoop, there you heard it. If you want smallmouth bass, this is the place to be. Right by Glenwood Road Bridge. Up to, what do you say, Buckhorn, I think. Striped bass, smallmouth bass. I don't know about eating them out of here though. Yeah, it's nice when that river bottom comes up and picks up the flow a little bit. I'm gonna miss this setting as we go forward north. Everything widens out, spreads out. Especially up towards Maumee. Civilization's right on top of it. This stretch down here is beautiful though. Reminds me of the Tusk. River's starting to get wider. Trees can't get across it anymore for a canopy. But it's pretty much overcast, so still nice and cool. Be really interesting to see what this river is at its norm. So I'm looking over my right shoulder right now, and there's some dead grass that got swept up in the tree, probably from these previous rains. It's got to be 3 feet up out of the water. So obviously the grass didn't jump that high. Waters must have been that high up to that branch. Grass got tangled in the branches. Ducks are so funny. When they're with their babies and you come up, the babies will go into the weeds on the side of the bank or tree roots or whatever, and the mother will splash through the water like she has a broken wing. Oh, come chase me! They'll do it for quite a while. That's a good mama. Keep the predators away from her young. But I think most of the time the predators figure it out if they're wise. That's the discharge from the National Lime and Stone Quarry. Blasting the water back into the river. Hey, too bad you weren't sweating yet today. You could have just went under there and took a shower. Cool old train bridge. I'm sure they still use it. Railroad ties look new on it, so they must still use it.
Really?
So 12 miles now. What time is it? 1:48. Let's say we keep that 3 mile per hour pace. Hey, look at that going across the river right there, swimming in front of me.
Yeah.
Think it's a muskrat or you think it's a beaver?
That's a muskrat. Got the narrower head. And a shorter body. Whoa.
I don't know, man. I didn't see any skinny tail at the end when he went under.
I didn't either.
But you know what? It probably is muskrat because I have not seen any beaver chewings along here.
We haven't seen any of the chewing.
Right. All right, so paddle 3 more hours. I don't know. I'm already on the right, so I'm just going to go right. So we paddle 4 hours. That'll put us till a little before 6. That'll give us another 12 miles. We'll hit that 25 mile per hour or that 25 mile spot, and then we'll get an early start tomorrow.
Get an early start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Put some time behind.
I'm gonna cut back left again because this bottoms out on this side of the island. I can see it all dammed up. Watch for this rock. It wants to sweep you into it. Man, yet another bridge. It's the highest concentration of bridges this entire day. Guess it's kind of nice though. I'd rather have a bridge every now and then instead of houses along the bank on the entire river. There we go. There's something right here. Yeah. We could take out right here on this left side.
Okay. That's concrete wall, right?
What?
The concrete wall is it, right?
Yeah, if not right there, then just a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually a launch, it looks like. Take out from coming down the river. So right there is the path that comes out right on the other side of the dam. That starts right at that sign that said no trespassing. So we went to the opposite side of the river, over here, right up against that block wall, climbed the bank, pulled the kayaks up a 45-degree angle, pulled them through the woods, brought them back down that 45-degree angle into the water, and did all of that because there was a no trespassing sign, even though there was a well-worn path where obviously people use that for portage because it's a perfect, easy portage. So I guess we got a good citizens award or something for obeying the law. Kind of hypocritical though when we're AKA stealth camping tonight, AKA trespassing. But if there was a sign, I would never go on somebody's property. Huh. Well, it looks more like a trash jam than a log jam. Well, obviously you can't go right I'm gonna see if I can't squeak around over here on the left. I see a log right across there already. Huh. Man, I thought we might be able to do a river without a portage around a log jam. You can see where others went up there on that right side.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
Huh.
Looks like you could almost
The
fit
problem
through.
is, yeah, it's just a debris. It's just a debris jam. You know what I mean? Like, just all the small stuff. They're just intertwined enough to hold everything back.
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, I know I can just go over there, get on that log, and then go up over that other log.
Well, go ahead.
This log is in a very bad spot. All right, so I'm gonna have to step on this first log to get up to the second log, get up to the third log. Woo!
Take it.
Yeah, that log sinks a lot.
Oh, I see that.
Uh-huh. Okay. Now, Mr. Boat, go back that way. All right. Oh, you know what?
Well,
I bet you I can come right up over this log and go right under that other one.
yeah.
Yeah. If I can get that tail end to get back in the river the way I needed to. There we go. That's better. Yeah. I think that might work. The only thing I'm worried about, I want to make sure that GoPro clears. Push it down a little bit. Yeah. All right. Got knocked around a little bit, but it's all right. Okay. It's tricky. All right, I'm back in the water now. You think you can replicate that?
Okay.
Oh man, turn the camera on and turn it around for that. For your replication.
What do you mean?
You gonna try to replicate that?
So what do you do?
All right. So I put my muck in one bag. And I
Oh.
put the air mattress inside it already.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have to
Now
take both things out of both bags.
that's cool.
I got the top quilt from Hammock Gear thrown inside, everything zipped up, no mosquitoes getting in it. Not gonna put the canopy on the rain tarp because I don't need it. No chance of rain. More than 25 miles, less than 30. But good day all in all. We're gonna do some chili mac from Mountain House and some baby red mashed potatoes in the most wonderful utensil, the jet boil. Then I'm gonna boil some more water and take me a nice shower. I gotta look and see what the potatoes need for water. I will get on my river shoes into my Crocs. Then I've got my night clothes laid out with the towel. I'm gonna boil some water here and then dump that water into that smart water bottle until it makes a nice comfortable temperature, and then put the screw cap on top of that smart water bottle. It's got strategically drilled holes to make a nice shower head, so I can have a nice clean shower and go to bed feeling refreshed. So the end of the day, cleaned up, laying in the muck, getting ready to fall asleep to the birds and watch the daylight fade. So, get up in the morning and start the next leg. Just beautiful. Water's a lot deeper on this side of the dam, that is. Thought there was a little baby turtle on there. There's a piece of bark. So right now we're floating through a wildlife area. Bald eagle just dropped out of a tree, flew down the river. It's absolutely beautiful here. It is such a shame about that portage at that dam. I see why people wore a path to get around it, even though they trespassed. It's just a beautiful stretch to float. And this wildlife goes on for a few miles, it looked like, if not the wildlife area itself. Then it's wooded for quite a few miles ahead of us. Back on the water, we're 7 minutes late. I have to paddle harder. 7:37, but close enough. Adios, little campsite. I had my little in. All right, so this is 677 miles in, and then we had like what, 28 yesterday, right around there. So 34, almost 35 miles. So we did 677 in 2 hours. It's not bad. This thing about 35 miles in from that start point. It's like a tapered low head dam. It's real gradual. It does have a little hydraulics right on the front, but I think if I would have caught this water yesterday or the day before when it was higher, would never even have known it was there. But it made just a big roller on the back side of it. Roller wave. So there's a creative design. Not a drowning machine, but still something that holds back the water. More civilization now. Waters are just about still. Some houses along the shores here and there. some road traffic you can hear off in the distance. Wildlife has dropped down, maybe other than the herons. Haven't seen a bald eagle or a kingfisher in quite a while. I wish we had an overcast day like we did yesterday. The sun's a little warm. It's too high now to hug the bank and take advantage of the shade that's along the banks. Just about right over top of us. Well, yeah, it's 11:15. So about 15 minutes or so, I should see if I mismarked that Lowhead Dam at 39 miles an hour, or 39 miles, or what actually was another one at 39 miles. I got fat fingers when I typed those, so I could have just easily hit the 9 instead of the 5. Because I wouldn't think I missed one, so I went through this map pretty good before I got on here. We shall see. And about 12 miles from where we started, about 8 miles where I thought about measuring the distance to Fort Jennings, but I never put in a specific point. I just put in Fort Jennings, so I could have been anywhere. Definitely in the city now, though. I don't know if it's gonna bounce away again. Get back into that remote feel anytime soon. Just if I pull up Google Maps, I can take a peek where we're at and what it looks like ahead. Okay, so Fort Jennings. Oh, it swings a big loop, heads south again before, yeah, then we get back into that rural feel. Good. Yeah, after we pop through this blurb of civilization here in Fort Jennings, we're going to come around this bend and head south, and then when we kick back towards the east, we'll be away from everything again. Look at those two little turtles sunbathing over there on that log. Oh, check this out.
What?
Here is that dam. You hear that?
Yeah, what mile?
That's interesting. So it might seem kind of silly watching the video of why I put the rope on the kayak and pulled it through that area instead of just charging it and floating through it. And the reason was there was enough water to get on top of those rocks, but not enough water to carry me over them. And I was afraid what would happen would be that I would have enough current to get on top of them, but my weight would actually be too much for those edges of the rocks, and one of them would puncture the bottom of my boat. They weren't round river rocks. They were pretty sharp and jagged, so I didn't want to take the chance there, and it was easy enough just to leash it around. It was actually easier than dragging it up, over, and around and putting it back into the water. So this area is twisty and windy. Aaron taking off there. But, guess not. Just decided to bounce around on the ground. Another one just flew way downriver. This water is just about perfectly still. There might be a half a mile an hour flow to it. So all shoulder work. And the sun is directly above, so hard to stay in the shade. But still, beautiful area. There's probably only like a, let me check, about 1.5 foot of water here. And it keeps splitting around these center islands, grassy areas. Can't imagine what the normal flow is like. Kingfishers are just going off. River choked down a little bit. Big, huge fallen tree that came across half the river. So we're able to pick up a little bit of flow. So that's good news. ATV somewhere off in the distance. So this has widened way out. And the flow is still pretty much non-existent, except for when it gets choked down through some tight bends. Picks up a little bit, but we're only, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles from camp. And there's no getting away from the sun now. It's just too much of an open space. If I hug that far side, like right now, I could. If I get right against the shore, but it's not as hot as it was earlier. Did a little experimenting and using the canoe, or using the kayak as a canoe. Got up and sat on my legs with my feet underneath me. Broke the paddle in half and used half of it for a canoe paddle. It was pretty interesting, worked pretty good. And then I'm guessing that I could stand up in this and use an SUP paddle. It'd be a little tricky because it's only wide right in the center. Not the whole way on it, but that's something I'm gonna try. Just when I'm on the pond, just for giggles and ha-has. But then I could have all 3 crafts in one. So, saying goodbye to this site, I hung between that tree there. Got my breakfast made. Have that a little bit down the road. My coffee. I'm still gonna put my river shoes on and get out of my Crocs. And head back that way to the river. Had to come up quite a ways for various reasons. But it was crazy how silent this area was. Other than the coyotes and the turkeys. But moving up towards Defiance, like 24 miles, I think, about 20 miles to the dam, which at the reservoir, I don't know how we're going to get around that yet. Rick doesn't know that yet. So, it is 7:42. 5 minutes later than yesterday's start. Water seems like it's got a decent flow to it today. Of course, we did have good flow coming around that bend at the end of the day yesterday because this chokes down. So whenever it narrows down, obviously it has to speed up. And there we go. Beautiful morning. Kingfisher clicking away as soon as I got in the water. Oh, isn't this pretty? That's the island I was thinking about staying at, but just wasn't good for trees. Could have made it work, but would have been pretty exposed too. Alright, day 3. I've got a feeling this river's going to be a tale of 3 days. The first one just absolutely gorgeous. The second one a mix of a lot of flat water and moving water, still pretty. This one, I think the majority, when this opens up into the reservoir, is going to be the least of it all, but still should be nice. Nice just to be on the water. So that is the Blanchard River that comes in and joins up with this Au Glace. Looks like a big stone pillar. Used to be a bridge up there.
Yeah.
You see it over on the right?
Maybe a railroad bridge?
Yeah, maybe.
I think there's one on the left too.
What was that other river that came in on the side? The Ottawa River yesterday.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few that feed this.
Yeah.
Feed this Au Glace, which in turn feed the Montmagny. It's like 3 different attempts. Like, look at these sandstone pillars. They used to be a road or, you know, for a bridge, railroad or cars or whatever. Right here on the right, and there's one across on the left. Then you've got those 2 big sandstone pillars up there.
You think they had a road there?
I think they built this small one and it got washed out with the floods.
Wow.
And then I think they built the other one higher. And then on the 3rd attempt, they found something that would last the time that they needed it to. Yeah. Yeah, there's a tree on top of that one. I didn't even realize that. So the water must have got up there, or it could have fallen over from the woods. But the likelihood of it landing there doesn't seem too high. Nice corridor. Dude, we're not even gonna hit another bend for a mile. I could see a mile ahead. So there's nobody here, but and it's not listed on Google Maps. But I'm thinking that's why there was markers on the trees as we were coming down here. First one I saw was 6, then it went 5, 4, 3, 2, and I wonder if this is the end point. I have to check it out. But they got a porta-john there, they got running water, plenty of rafts. I don't know if they do any camping. There's a house way up there. Nice little pavilion with a fire pit. I'm gonna have to check that out. Real gradual twists and turns through here. Still little flow, if any, to the water. Oh, Mr. Bald Eagle showed up. Landed right over in that tree. Rick, eagle ahead on left. So just past Masonville campground, getting into boaters territory now, passing a lot of pontoon boats on the docks and stuff. I think it was Masonville campground, he said. But that dam, the reservoir dam, is probably, I don't know, 13, 14 miles ahead, so it's holding back definitely a lot of water. So I think we have seen the end of our flowing water. So we get on the other side of the dam. So that spot last night, we ended up stopping, I don't know, around 32 miles or so from where we stopped the previous night. And where I wanted to spend the night, there were no trespassing signs all along the bank. So it must mean that some people were inconsiderate enough to go up there and build fires and leave their trash and beer cans and stuff. They don't want any more of it. So we went further and further down. Finally found a bend in the river that was just piled up with a bunch of debris, dead trees and driftwood and stuff. Went around that bend and took up into the woods. Horribly steep angle. I actually pulled Rick's kayak up the hill after mine, but there was a log to get out on right there, so I was able to scamper up, pull the kayaks up, and then went back deep into the woods. And the coyotes, there's a lone coyote that was sounding off, making all the dogs bark in the neighborhood. And the turkeys in the morning were just going off. I don't know if they were just upset that we were there or what the deal was, but making all kinds of ruckus. The deer in the middle of the night, as usual, puffing their exhalations that they don't like our hammocks being in the woods. But the previous night, the first night, the coyotes, oh my gosh, I don't know. There had to be a pack of 8 or 10 of them or more just going off, and they were close too. I was glad to hear their barking and everything moving farther away, just so I didn't have to worry about them coming up in the camp getting nosy and curious. Single coyote won't have anything to do with you, but you get a pack of 10 to 12, you never know. Must be another little campground right here on the banks. All kinds of RVs, pontoon boats. I think it's going to be a pretty common sight till we hit that reservoir, maybe even on the other side. So we still got a little bit of shade tight against this bank, but fading fast. The sun's coming directly overhead. And we'll have to hug this bank regardless, because with power boats coming up, got to stay on the far right side unless you want to get smashed and run over. Or yelled at, and somebody telling you to not be an idiot and get out of the middle of the river. But I did talk to one guy that was coming by, slowed down a lot. And I was like, come back by and kick it up. Give me some wakes. So he did. I was able to play on some wakes for a little bit. So that was entertaining for a moment. But the scenery has definitely changed. It is definitely a tale of 3 tales. First day being absolutely incredible. The second day, mostly incredible with some still water because we were coming up to this flat water. Today has been absolutely all still water because basically, I don't know where they say the reservoir starts at, but you might as well consider this the reservoir also because it backs the water up all the way back here. And we're probably still, now I'd say I think we're 8 or 9 miles from the reservoir. Probably stop in another hour or so, take lunch, get some energy for the huge massive portage that we'll have to do if we can even find a way around the dam. So this thing is coming down into the river sometime in the future. I don't think it was, I don't think they consulted an engineer before they built it. And the plywood never even got siding on it or anything, I don't think. That is coming into the river sometime soon, ain't it? So I haven't had the camera on very much at all. Just because this is drudgery. About the only excitement I get is when a boat comes my way fast and I get to play in their wakes a little bit. But we're about 3 miles from the dam or so, and we shall see when we get there exactly what happens. I don't know. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Because can't never could. So funny. I just asked this dude like 2 minutes ago, hey, how far up is that dam? He was out by his dock, by his boat. And he said, oh, it's about a mile up. And I was like, man, that is so weird, because the last dude told me it's about a mile up. And I've got my phone in the battery box charging, so I couldn't look. But I literally came around this curve like 3 minutes ago. And I don't know, that kind of looks like a dam. So this will be interesting. There's supposed to be a path that fishermen have worn down to the side of the dam from road level, which I found true. At any dam, when you need to get up out of the river and back onto a road, think of fishermen, because they have gone around fences, through the woods, whatever it takes to get down to the river to get the fish. So it works perfect for me because I want to get out of the river and around the dam. And usually they have a path on both sides, on the back side of the dam and the front side. So it works. Getting out of the river and getting back down to the river. And then this river returns to a river instead of a reservoir. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Some moving water maybe for 5 miles and then hit the Maumee. So we'll see what kind of path we got when we get up there. So this is the quandary. I passed some stairs, probably 3 different sets of stairs, going right up to the road, probably 1/8 of a mile back, and I had no interest in portaging that great of a distance. Up on the right, that concrete block with the tree comes out, that's coming out of it, right behind it, looks like a perfect place to pop out around the building, around the dam, and back in. But I don't see any fishermen, so I don't know where the path is that they might have wore down to the dam. It just makes me wonder how the guy that told me that would have ever seen it, unless he was on the other side of the barrier. I don't see any do not pass signs or anything on those warning cones. So I don't think it is actually illegal. Maybe not wise, but the water's absolutely dead. I think that gravel spot right next to that concrete slab is my takeout. And we just have to see where we can put back in. So there's actually a little takeout right here. I don't know if it's official or unofficial, but obviously I crossed those little red cones that were out there. Didn't say do not pass, just said, didn't say anything. Just had little cones there to warn the boaters that the end of the reservoir was right there. But if anybody ever sees this, I would check the legality of it all before you do it. So now, go up and around, see how we get back in.
So those are all security cameras.
So a little too late now, but every little sign on those fence posts up there say no trespassing. So here's a picture at the top of the hill, and I didn't see these until I got to the top of the hill to go out and scout my portage. If there would have been no trespassing signs down by the water, then I would have back paddled and taken out somewhere else. Because I do try to obey the laws as much as I can. I'm just trying to do something that hasn't really been done before, so there's no path exactly for me to follow. But at the top of the hill, you can see where fishermen park all the time there at the road to go down to the dam to fish. So if it was a major problem, that I'm sure anytime a police officer came by, they would make them move their cars and come up from the river. So it seems to be kind of acceptable, if not completely legal. But you can see here in this next picture, the hill that goes down to that water is extremely treacherous. I mean, I had to tie 2 of our throw ropes together in order to lower the kayak down to the water. I would never try to walk down that hill and maintain control of the kayak, because it could easily enough take you off your feet and cause you some pretty severe injury. And then here is the picture when we're back in the water, looking at the backside of the dam and entering this stretch of water that is actually a river once again instead of a reservoir. So back on the Glaze River on the other side of the dam. I'm going to go over here to this bend, then hopefully get back into woods and things that resemble a river and not a reservoir. Moving water, wildlife already. Very refreshing after the 8 hours or whatever we did on flat water. So not a lot of flow, but a little bit of flow. But even just the breeze and the setting just absolutely changes the attitude of the paddling. There's been houses here and there. Very few of them actually have any kind of path set down to the river of any sorts. There's one up here on the right. Looks like they got a little dock. I don't know if they got a pontoon boat up there or not. Just all kinds of swallow nests up under this bridge. They're awesome acrobats. The most I've ever seen is probably on the Killbuck Creek under the Route 30 bridge. There had to be close to 100. I was paddling on Killbuck Creek with them flying all around me, gathering insects, just like I was in the middle of a swarm of bees or something. It was pretty awesome to see. We are just about there. Rick doesn't know it yet, but up around this bend we'll actually hit the Maumee. So this is the mighty Maumee. Next time we put in, we'll be heading this way to Lake Erie. There's another 80 to 90 miles, but probably nothing but shoulder work and slow paddles. This is Pontiac Park here on the north side of the Maumee, and I think this is where I'm going to take out. Nice parking lot. I don't see an actual, oh yeah, there is a boat ramp right on the other side of this fishing pier. All right, good to go. So here we are. Across the way, straight ahead, is the Glaze that we came up last time. Hit this boat ramp right here. Pontiac Park in Defiance. So I'm gonna actually put in at a boat ramp, which is very odd for me. Very rarely ever happens. It's a little misting. Hopefully it dies off. But there is the Maumee that I'll be paddling. And I think about 4 miles up, there's Independence Dam that I'll have to go around. Nice cool weather though. About 8:15. It was 2 hours 40 minutes or something to get up here. About 8:15, I think, and a long day ahead. So I'm gonna get unloaded and get into the water. I think that is an otter. I saw it go underwater a little bit ago and there was no tail. Yes, that is an otter. See, I love you, bye. So there is the Oglaze. This is the Maumee from river level. I cannot believe I saw that otter. I mean, it isn't just the wildlife viewing. Otters are my favorite animal in the world. And to think that I might pass them by is pretty exciting. Because there's a dam, I don't know, a few miles down the river. So I'm sure that otter's not portaging up and around that dam. I don't know how the Weather Channel was so far off with 5% chance of rain. And it's been drizzling lightly for the last hour on the way up here. Oh, I should probably start the rowdy yak. Oh, there's a heron. Oh, he's got a fish too. Just got his breakfast. You can see the fish in his mouth. It's a little one. A heron just ate one of my frogs out of my pond a couple days ago. I had to go chase it off. I like my frogs. Oh, he's already finished breakfast. Moving down the river. Herons sound like what you'd imagine a pterodactyl sounding like. Alright. Keep an eye out for an otter. A couple bald eagles just landed in that tree right there on the point of that island. Probably can't pick it up on the camera. Maybe the shadows will show up though in the gray sky background. Both mature, both got white heads. And there goes one. And there goes the other. And then there's a heron sitting right out there on a piece of driftwood. Wow, I am really surprised. Not even a mile in. It's a pretty good viewing so far. A little bit of a headwind, which is a drag. Not as much of a drag as just paddling still water with no flow. It's gonna be a long, hard day. I gotta do like 32 miles today. Try to keep that 3 mile per hour pace on still water. It takes its toll after a while. But at least it's not 95 degrees. I was just looking at that dam too on Google Maps. Looks like that portage is on the left, not the right. I don't know why I was thinking it was on the right. Find out when I get up there in a few miles though. But any day on the water, it's a good day. So this is interesting. Here's the sign for the takeout for the dam. Not even a sound of falling water down. Maybe because it's a reservoir dam, it's all just trapped right there. Let's see what this takeout is like. Where the actual dam is, how far down. I'm guessing down by that concrete pillar down there on the left. I thought I heard water, but that was just a car on a road off in the distance. Alright, so I guess I'm going to take out right here, go up through this grassland and drop back in. Man, it looks like a looks like a long portage. See what's going on. So it sounds hypocritical to say don't do what I'm doing, but the reason I say that is that launch that I took out right down here, well, that dam, I carried this, drug it over the grass for this distance of probably, I don't know, 2 football fields, and came down here because I thought the dam was on the other side of this bank on my right, but it's not. This joins back into the river again before the dam. So I'm going to paddle down towards the dam and take out closer to the dam, go up and over. There's a trail that goes through these woods up here on the left that you could pull your kayak down that stretch that I did, come down here and hit these woods at this bend, then take the trail all the way down onto the other side of the dam, which is the proposed way to portage. And that portage is probably I don't know if it'd be a half a mile. Very well could be. So what I'm going to do is scout for a place I can take out on the bank that's a lot closer without getting anywhere near the actual dam. See, that concrete pillar there on the left is the dam. So I think I'm going to go up to this nose of this island, take out there, then take that path down the rest of the dam. But just this little putting back in the water and paddling up to this point where I'm going to take out probably saved me a quarter mile of dragging my kayak through the grass. 50 pounds of gear in it, 50-pound kayak, yeah, 100 pounds. That gets old real quick. I really need to find a good set of wheels that I can just keep on the top of the back of the kayak for just such an emergency. Haven't found that yet though. Almost all the wheels seem like they're made just to put on the kayak, take from the parking lot down to the launch, and then walk them back up to the car and put it away while you paddle. Go back up to the car and grab them again when you go to take out. Okay, there's some logs over here I can use to get up to the trail. Well, that was an absolute drag. There wasn't any clear way to get up to that path on the right. So I shot over to the left. Wow, big fish jumping right there. Shot over to the left and took out in the woods and had to pull up a huge hill, back down a huge hill. It was a nightmare for portage. On the left side, I still didn't see where the actual drop was to go back into the river, but doesn't matter, I'm past it. Took a whole lot of time there. I'm below my 3-mile-an-hour pace, and I have to do better than a 3-mile-per-hour pace, including if I stop for a break or take lunch or something in order to make it to that campsite before dark. So it's gonna be a tough go today. The headwinds have died down a little bit, which are good, but still no flow to the water and the wind blowing against me. It's gonna make it for a long day. A lot of wildlife though. I mean, really nice wildlife. Like here's a bunch of herons just hanging out in the water, waiting for some fish to go by. I saw one of those thin black fish that look like an egret, just a different color. Pop down and fly off with something. Alright, so I gotta get paddling. Well, one thing I definitely don't have to worry about is any boating activity on this big wide river. It's only like a 1.5 feet deep, if that. So right now I'm sitting in my kayak. I've got my legs folded back underneath me, my knees on the bottom of the kayak, and the arches of my feet where they meet the ankle right on the edge of my seat. And I really like this paddling position just to switch things up. More powerful of a stroke. You've got plenty of ease of rotation or flexibility in your back to move around. It is a little less stable, but it's a really nice change up from just sitting in the same position every moment with your feet on the foot pegs. You get that tightness in your lower back there. Really good change up of pace. I made some alterations to the kayak. I actually put a Perception rudder kit on it. Haven't bothered using it yet today. I took it out on Killbuck Lake, played around with it a little bit. The steering is pretty amazing, but I figured on just flat, straight water it'd be nice, because whenever I stop paddling, the back end of the kayak tends to drift. I always have to drop one end of the paddle in the water while I'm trying to do something and correct the sideways drift. I was wondering when I was going to see a pontoon boat. This water's been deep now for miles, and with all the collection of those boats there, I'm guessing it must be some kind of marina or something. The phone needed charge, so I put it inside the electronic box, plugged into one of the battery packs, or else I'd pull up Google and see exactly what the story is behind it. So this is a little over 16 miles, maybe closer to 17 miles from Pontiac Park. But it looks like a really nice boat launch there. I don't know what that bridge is up ahead. But if you wanted to do an overnight camp on this river and not do the 32 miles that I'm going to do today, you could cut that distance in half, put in at that launch, and paddle down to the campground I'm staying at is Mary Thurston State Park Campground. But there's a couple that are real close by there, so it'd be a nice way to spend the whole entire day on the river, and then have a campground there. Could even push on the next day and find a takeout farther up the river. Of course, you'd have to go around that dam that's right there at the Mary Thurston State Park area. But I'm sure the portage there would be much easier than the one that I did. I hope, anyways. I guess I'll find out when I get there. Definitely a little more civilization now. So, finally on the outskirts of Napoleon. And all the businesses and houses disappeared from the side. That was probably 19 or 20 miles from where I started. But it's so nice just to see greenery again. I'm going to shoot at an angle across the river so I don't have to take that wide sweeping bend. Hit that curve, inside curve on the left. Try to pick up some paddle strokes. I don't think I have to worry about boats. Everybody's boat that I saw, it was like they're put away, like Labor Day happens and nobody can go in the water anymore or something. Which, I mean, works good for me. I got the river to myself. I haven't seen another craft on it for 20 miles. Well, nothing to report on the river exciting. Odd. Yeah, there was an odd thing though. There was hundreds, I mean several hundred minnows in a school that were just like dancing at the very top of the water. And I saw it probably 12 or 14 times. So first I couldn't tell what it was. I thought it was bugs, but then when I got close to one, I saw there were just several hundred minnows. So the Rowdy app shut off at like 7.86 miles when I was trying to wipe the screen off. So I saved that route and then started a new one. So after that happened, I've done 15.8. So 22, roughly 23, 9 miles left to go. 408, 9 miles, 3 mile an hour pace. Yeah, 7:15, 7:30, right about what I had originally planned. My mileage has dropped severely. I was cranking at like 4.5, and then headwinds moved in, knocked me back. It took so much energy that my shoulders are definitely feeling it now. But I've been paddling a long time. I mean, 8:30 to 4 o'clock. It's almost 8 hours continuous paddling, other than to water rocks a few times and portage around that dam. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough one though. So as much as I don't want to, I guess I should quit yapping and get back to paddling. I just want to get to the camp, set my muck up, have something to eat, relax. So we are 2.5 miles from my takeout. 6 o'clock. So should be there just a freckle before 7 o'clock. Headwinds have finally died down. The mist is very faint. Passing a lot of RV parks and stuff now. Like you can see over here on the other side. A lot of RV parks, boat launches and stuff. So we will make it there. But it has been hard fought. My shoulders are screaming. So tough to pull a fully loaded boat for multiple days through the water when there's absolutely no flow. Even worse, when there's a headwind blowing in your face trying to push you backwards. The horrible portage around the dam was probably the easy part of the thing. The most concerning part was right at the beginning though, because that low water lasted for miles. I mean, I don't know, it could have been 4 to 7 miles, something. Really didn't pay much attention. I was just frustrated trying to get through it, pick channels. Then I would scrape bottom and have to scoot, push with my paddle. Then I have to just get out and walk over those huge pieces of stone that were just like bedrock under the river. And it was so weird how that bottom just fell out, like in a heartbeat, just dropped. I don't even know how deep because I couldn't even touch it with my paddle. But so glad it did, because that was the only thing that saved me. Once I got into deep water where I could actually grab a full paddle full of water and start making some time, things got better. Of course, then the headwind came in, so kind of negated that whole thing. And then I was working so hard to push through that headwind, started feeling queasy in my stomach, and I remembered that old feeling from CrossFit, lactic acid buildup. So I had to slow it back down. Still stayed around 3 miles per hour, despite the headwind and stuff. But I will check back in when I actually get to the camp. So sometime about 8 o'clock, 10 after. Just pushed the kayak like 15 feet into the water from the campsite, which is really nice. You can come right up out of the water into your campsite. Up here is that Lowhead Dam, right by Mary Jane Thurston State Park. And I went up there and scoped it out because that building up there is like the shower house and what have you. And there's a pathway, like a canal, a lock over to the right that you can just pass through. Did a double sweep of the campground, or my campsite. Almost made a big boo-boo. When I took down the hammock, I rolled up the straps, Velcroed them shut, and set them down next to where I rolled up the hammock and put it back into the stuff sack. Put the hammock away in the kayak. Left the straps laying there on the ground. Fortunately, saw them again when I swept the second time. Should definitely have a full cup of coffee before I start packing up. But I had a full cup of coffee, then I made one to take with me as I paddle. Actually ate my breakfast this morning instead of just bouncing and eating it down the river. Needed the calories. Yesterday just crushed me. I slept like a rock, but man, I was just absolutely destroyed. So we'll push up to the Toledo Rowing Club and see what we come across along the way. There's some nice stretches, but obviously passing right through Toledo, so it's all going to be the city feel, commercial buildings and what have you. But make the most of it. Can't be all bad if you're on the water, right? You can see the little lock on the right over there. Straight ahead of me is the Lowhead Dam. See the straight line drop off the river. .9 miles. I wonder if it's, yeah, the Maumee Water Trail. So go down this channel and get back into the river. Canal goes on for a little way, but I'd rather paddle something like this. Small trees right next to it, than actually get back out on the river. This reminds me more of the rivers I do most of the time. I don't think I ever had such an exhausting day paddling than yesterday, other than maybe when I did a 44-mile day on the Muskegum River. Same thing, big, huge, in between a bunch of locks and dams. No flow to the water. Right here I can just sit and listen to the birds. Gotta ease and coerce my shoulders back into paddling. They do not like the idea. So this is the other side of the dam, and you could see the water levels very shallow. I'm hoping that the bottom drops like it did before once I get down past those two bridges, but going through here is going to be a drag fest. I was hoping if I took that canal all the way down here, it would put me past it, but this riverbed is up so high. I think it's going to be a repeat of the beginning of yesterday's route. And this is by no means actually a setup kind of takeout. You can see, I mean, you have to be able to stand up in your kayak, get onto the wall, pull your kayak up and over, and then I'm just going to take it over here, drop back down in, have to walk across that rock plain, put back into some moving water, see if I got enough to float, make my way down the river. Yeah, they just aren't set up for ease of passage. Over on the far side of that dam, looks like there's a path down to the water. It's Probably the official portage around the dam. So I had to actually walk it all the way out here to the center of the river. Water's only like 6 inches deep and rises and falls, so the rocks sometimes are only an inch below the water. But getting ready to get past the last riffle, put into some water, and hopefully have enough to float. If not, then it's going to be a very long morning. Okay, so big drop off again. Not anything like that dam at the I forget what the dam was called, the 4 miles down from where the Glaze hit the Money. Providence Dam, maybe? I don't know, I don't remember. But at least it's I got a couple feet right now, and hopefully it stays that way. All I need is a couple feet. See how it goes. So I guess I shouldn't have counted my chickens before they hatched. Although I had water deep enough that I couldn't touch my paddle, the river bottom just came up and rose again. You could see the shelf going right across there. And looking ahead, I probably still have, I don't know, half a mile or so of the same looking stuff. So my pace is slowed to under 2.5 miles an hour. Eco count is up to 6 though. Walking in this water, I gotta be really careful. Make sure I got good footing. If I sprained an ankle out here by myself, even though I'm not in the backwoods of Alaska, it would take quite an effort to get to some kind of assistance. And if you've ever sprained your ankle, you know how horrible that is. It isn't like you can just limp along it. And if it had any decent flow to it, or if it was any higher, I could easily get my foot stuck. Foot entrapment is a big danger. So I guess knowing when you can do certain things and when you can't saves you from a lot of hardships. My optimism is around this next bend the river will drop again, the river bottom. That's a good thing about the bends, it gives you optimism. You're looking in a long straight line of a bunch of rocks sticking up out of the river. Could be quite stunning to your morale. It is just beautiful to be out there though. It's a real pretty setting. Biggest difference with this setting and the Scioto is that the trees in the riparian zone come right down to the water's edge. It was a lot more gravel bars on the Scioto. So hopefully I take this pass over to the right. This is an S curve coming up. Get through these 2 bends, and I can already hear riffles up ahead. Yeah. So I'll be out and walking again really soon. That'll probably take me 10 minutes to get up there though. Joy. Huh. So there's a boat launch over there. Hopefully that's an indication that the river bottom is getting ready to drop. So this is at 26 1/3, I think, miles on the Maumee Trail. And I'm not sure exactly where. I know on the Cuyahoga it counts down out to the lake, so this probably counts down out to the bay, perhaps, where the Maumee hits the bay. But I've been walking for like a half hour. The river bottom came up again, and around that next bend I can't see any more tufts up in the middle of the river, and I'm hoping that it drops down again. But if not, then I'm going to make some serious consideration on just scrapping this for another day and watching the gauges. And I looked at the gauge in a river app, and it showed the gauge by Napoleon at 1.7. And I pulled up the 30-day graph, and it looked pretty consistent with a few spikes, probably from rainfall, obviously. But I am definitely not walking this kayak for the 20-some more miles to get to my takeout. So, trying to be optimistic and hoping things will change around that next bend. But if not, I could say scrap this and then come back when the gauges are at least a foot higher than what they are today. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so just leaving that rise in the river, and I don't see any more tufts back here, at least as far as I can see until I get around this bend. But that's just a nightmare. One heck of a water trail. I should say water trail at so many CFS, because yeah, I guess it would be a trail that you would walk in the water. See how you paddle this on a regular basis, but it does have a designation, and it is beautiful. But it's just one of those things that you have to know what level you can paddle it. That's what I was saying before with the, I mean, you can get the height of the water. Okay, so it's 1.7 at the gauges. So this plateau rises up to 1.6. Without those two numbers together, you really don't know when to paddle. Eagle count is up to, I think it's up to 8. No, it's up to 9. So, I lost so much time. I was like 6 miles, but 2.5 hours in or something like that. So, let's just hope that, yeah, see this, now I'm at, this water's 5 foot deep, so that rock bottom from the river rises up 4 or more feet from where the bottom is right here. So I don't know how many more times I'm going to come across that. I'm hoping none. But yeah, you just always got to wait to see what's around the next bend. Things might look tough for the moment, but right around the next bend, you've got some good water to get back into. I just wish there was a foolproof system to know when to paddle and when to not on each river. And if you've designated a water trail, I think you should be obligated to set a number on that of when it's passable. But that's my 2 cents. Alright. Right at that bend back there is when I started dragging. Probably at least a half mile. I'm almost 3 hours into this, and I don't know, what did I have? 7 miles maybe. 6.82 miles in 2 hours and 49 minutes. So I mean, realistically I should be around the 9-mile mark, and I'm not even at the 7. I'm gonna see how this goes, see how the river rises. I tell you what though, it isn't looking good. It's not looking promising. But who knows, it might get better around the next bend, right? We'll find out. So this water is good. I can't even touch the bottom with the paddle. It's just amazing how the depths change. But I'm hoping that it stays this way. So here are all the birds back again, which means all the riffles, I already started hitting them. I could pull my kayak over the water. I mean, it floats across, but not with my body weight in it. This is a huge, long island right here. And debating whether to take the right or the left. I think I'm going to take the right just for the fact that all the birds are on the left, so maybe the water on the right is a little bit deeper. But I can already see grass growing up in it and everything. It just tells me that the riverbed is right up there by the surface. So this is going to be a long walk if it stays this way, because that island looked to be close to a mile long. So some good news, a couple of fishermen just showed up right down at that gap by the island. So I'll be able to ask them what the water level is like down there. Insider information. So good to have conversations with locals. This guy said the water's deep for at least a mile ahead, and I hit a train bridge, and then it's going to be shallow deep kind of setup. But he said once I hit the Maumee Bridge, it'll be deep from that point all the way out to the lake. And he said the Maumee Bridge is only like 4 or 5 miles out. So gives me a glimmer of hope. I won't be anywhere near my original takeout time. I'll have to readjust that when I text Angie. But 4 or 5 miles, this first mile will be easy paddling. So that only leaves me with 3 or 4 miles of paddle a half mile, walk a half mile, paddle a half mile, walk a half mile. Well, that boater's mileage might have been off, but his assumption and assessment of the water wasn't. You can already see grass tufts growing all the way across the water. Pterodactyl, relax. And all the birds in the water, which means they're just standing there in a few inches of water trying to catch minnows that go by. So there's no sense, I'm stuck on a rock right here. I'm gonna have to start walking after this point. Not gonna bother dragging the kayak all the way over to the shore just to fix lunch. I'll just do it right here. So I drug down around that bend, then I drug a whole lot further, letting the kayak float beside me as I just walked it. Slowed the pace, slowed my step, took it a lot more careful, I guess, and actually got into some water that I can float on, even though it's only about 10 to 12 inches deep. See what's up here, because I see a whole bunch of birds, but maybe the center pass is clear. The Maumee Water Trail. I was talking to a couple of fishermen back there, and then they said that when it rains, it gets really, really high, but when it doesn't rain, this is the normal level for the river. Uh-oh, on a big old rock. Which just begs the question of if we're gonna name it a water trail. Nope. This ledge is, I'm gonna get out and push this. So, some devastating news. That guy said that this low water would continue for like 4 miles, 5 miles after I saw him. And he said at the Maumee Bridge, the water dropped deep and was deep all the way out to Lake Erie. Well, that Maumee Bridge is like right down from my original takeout. So it's probably 14 or 15 miles from this spot right now. So I changed plans. I'm going to try to make it up to like Buttonwood Recreation State Park or something like that, and meet Angie there and regroup. But yeah, it's taken all the wind out of my sails. What are you gonna do? So I just dropped back in the boat. Oh, about 14 and a half miles in. I didn't check the time. I don't know what time it is. I have not been making good time, I can guarantee you that though. It's like paddle, hit a rock ledge, walk all the way across the rock ledge till the rock ledge drops again. Put back in the canoe. Paddle till the next rock ledge. Might have a little bit of paddling in front of me here. Yeah, you can see just how shallow it is. Even though there aren't rocks in the middle of the river and grass growing up in it. It is shallow. I'm not going to be able to make it through here. Let me see if I can't get over there. Looks like there might be a little flow. Might be able to get through. And so much for that idea. That's been the story of the day though. Paddle a quarter mile, walk. Paddle a quarter mile, walk. And actually a quarter mile would be a good bit of distance. I'm not even doing more walking than paddling. About 16.4 miles in. That other takeout is only a half a mile ahead of me. Angie's just getting ready to leave now. She's 2 hours away. So I'm going to push forward at least to this place, something like a New Orleans boat launch or something like that. And what I might do is put back in tomorrow morning. If I can make 18 today, that'll only give me 10 miles to reach the Toledo Rowing Club. Do that tomorrow, call it good. Come back for another day and put back in at Toledo Rowing Club and punch to the lake. The sun is finally broken through, shining pretty bright. I got about another mile or so, mile and a half, mile and a third. I don't know, I have to check. To that New Orleans boat launch. So this is, I think, the Conant Street Bridge, something like that. And so glad that that guy said when he hit the Maumee Bridge, it's deep all the way out to the lake. he must mean like boat deep, because he said 4 or 5 miles of low water. Actually turned out to be several more miles than that. But so glad that the shallows and the rising river bottom didn't extend all the way out for that 15 miles. So I'm guessing this is my launch, seeing as I just saw some guy come down and put his kayak in. You know, and all the complaining I did about that low water, I've only got myself to blame. I should have researched this river a lot more. But I've had good water now for quite a long time. So going forward, I think it should be fine. So I'm going to take that last 14 miles up and out into the bay, and I don't think I'm going to go out past the lighthouse because it's a lot different than Sandusky Bay. It doesn't come in like you would think a bay does. I mean, it's just the end of the lake, so I don't think it's going to bother me just to go to the bay. So I guess this isn't too bad. Usually I don't like flat water. But when you're by the edge, you see everything going on. All the kingfishers. Out here, a whole lot of gulls, the herons and stuff. It isn't too bad. I forget what these blackbirds are called. Darker colored fishing birds. Oh, the white ones are egrets. And Rick had told me what these ones are called, but I forgot. Ah, 2 bald eagles right there. Did you hear them? So down at the end of the stretch, you get smacked with commercial plant of some kind. But I think as soon as I hang that left, then I'm going to be in the guts of it all. So that'd be interesting. Kind of like when I finished the first L2R up by the lake, went through the boating channels and stuff, through that industrial area. It was interesting, not really pleasant, but it was interesting to see how they use the river up there. And it's not on fire anymore, so yes. So I just passed that bridge, which is actually I-75, and did the last mile in 17 minutes. But I had to work for it. I thought it was just the headwind that was pushing me back. So when I stopped to check the mileage and stuff on Rowdy, the wind is pushing me backwards at a ½ mile an hour. So it's been a little tougher go than normal. There's definitely not going to be any 4.5 mile hours. That's a fact. So it looks like I have arrived into the city itself. I stopped at the railroad bridge behind me, 8.10 miles in, like 2 hours and 36 minutes or something. And just for giggles, I checked my assumption of that wind that I was fighting, and indeed Lifetime Rowdy showed me moving at 0.5 to 0.7 miles, and that was going backwards when I wasn't paddling, just letting the wind push me. So every mile is going to be hard fought, but I have under 6 miles left to hit the 0 point of the Maumee River Trail, and then that'll be the conclusion of it, unless I push out a little bit, which I doubt I will. It just feels right to stop at 0. Not like the Sandusky Bay where it was all like inside the lake in a little dish until you got out into the lake. So that's probably what I'll do. Little different scenery now though. So 10.5 miles in, 3.5 miles from point 0. Ahead when it's just been such a bear. I mean, I gotta paddle at like a 3.5 mile per hour effort in order just to keep my 3 mile an hour pace. And slightly ahead of that right now. So hopefully it doesn't get worse. Well, it'd be nice if it just died altogether, but I'll be content with it just not getting worse. Catching a lot of power boats now. Breaks up the boredom a little bit. I get to ride out their wakes. If I catch it just right, it carries me a lot quicker than when the water's just flat. So that's a nice little change of pace. So the end is in sight at 13 miles right now. 4 hours 13 minutes, and I think where that tree line stops up there on the left, that small gap that's up there, that's where I need to shoot through. But I think Cullen Park is on the inside of the break wall, so I got to get outside that break wall if I'm going to call that Lake Erie. But very happy to be here at this point. So about to punch through the final mile. So I changed my mind. Actually pushing out a little farther. Had a couple power boats. Get to play on their wakes a little bit. So that Cullen Park, like has almost like a breaker wall to it, so I'm gonna get past that, and then I'll just ride that wall down to the park for the actual takeout. So that's it. Just wanted to get around this break wall. How fitting. There's my kingfisher in that branch. What's up, Mr. Kingfisher? There he goes. And there I go. So here is the beginning of the southbound water portion of this route. And we parked at Indian Lake Fishing Access parking spot and went under the highway through a culvert, got over into what eventually becomes the Great Miami, and I paddled north until I made it up towards the spillway. There just didn't seem to be good parking up there right at the spillway. I didn't want to try to figure it out. This was really clear cut. So I started the route here, paddled up north to the spillway, started the Rowdy app, and began floating south. So when I do that portage from Hammond Park or whatever that was in Wapakoneta, where I started the northbound portion, I will put wheels under the kayaks and put them behind the bicycles and go from Wapakoneta to this point in the parking lot where I put in, and I think it's a little bit over 20 miles. I don't know, probably 45, 50 degrees. Sun's out though, so that's nice. All right, get this stuff unloaded and get going here. Definitely a very interesting beginning. All right, love, I'll see you in 3 days. Well, this is definitely a first, Ricky. Yeah. Never paddled through a sewer pipe. No, it's a big pile of mud. Oh, yeah. And I think we're dammed up as soon as we get out of this pipe. Yep. See, this is that spillway that comes up there, actually out from the spillway. There's just no good way to get there, you know, from like to park. There we go. Over a little bit of a high spot. So, heading back south. Water temp looks to be, I don't know, 53, 54, perhaps. Outside temperatures, I don't know if it's hit 50 yet or not. Almost 45 on the drive. But I'm actually glad to see this much water in this part. I thought we might be walking. Big old clam still alive. Yeah. Collect a whole bunch and make dinner. I don't think so. Not from this water. So just rolled, or just walked next to the kayaks for, I don't know, maybe 20, 30 yards. Get off a high spot. There was a bunch of collection of debris right on the other side of that pipe that we came out of. Went up to the spillway, came back, then had to jump over that little collection of trees and tree branches, leaves and such, and then a little bit of high ground that we had to walk over. Remember I said this might resemble the little Scioto for a while? Yeah. Look at what's up ahead. This would be log jam number 3. I'm not going to call the little pile up of sticks and leaves an actual log jam, but this one is a log across the river. I'll try to keep count of them, see how many we run into. I like these ones, so it's just a quick up and over. Easy peasy. Indian Lake wastewater treatment final outfall. Huh. I think about just putting a Sawyer filter down there and filtering yourself some water. I'll pass on that. So Jordan Creek just came in on the right side. The water's been nice and deep for quite a bit. That's Jordan Creek coming in from that side. So I think we're up at 7 or 8 jams now. And that wasn't young eagle that I saw earlier. That was still dark. I heard his screeches quite a few times, and then he was sitting in a tree on a branch over the river. Just watched us paddle by. But real young, probably just a year or two old. So is that log jam number 9? They've been stacking up frequently lately, which is weird because we get deeper water and then all the log jams. Well, I figure I could brew a cup of coffee by the time you get down here. So I'm in chest-high water right now. As you can see, that elevation change. Complementary river construction by our favorite little rodent. That's pretty impressive, though. It makes it that solid that it can hold back 2 feet of water. There's a lot of force behind that. I gotta try to jump back up in my boat now. Rowdy says 5.24 miles, 3.5 hours. Wow, I should be at 10 miles. We're only halfway there. Half of that. 1 o'clock. We paddled to 6. Yeah, we'd definitely be staying somewhere else tonight than where I had thought we would end up at. Is that a turkey? Yeah, it's a turkey. Right? No? Not a heron. Doesn't have the neck for it. Then again, blends in so well. Yeah, it is a heron. I just saw the heron again. So his wing is broke. He can't fly. Which is probably a death sentence. because he's gonna starve to death on these waters. That's sad. Hey, look at that. A sign of civilization. I wonder what that is. Other than covered bridge, obviously. Macaulay Bridge. Well, Rick's count was at 19. I guess I have to count this as a log jam because I will have to get out of the kayak and back into it on the other side. So let me stand up. Whee! Yeah, the kayak will go under it. There's no way I can go under it inside the kayak. So I gotta do a mid-air transfer. So we've been paddling with decent depth of water and 0 log jams for like 3 miles, probably 2.5 anyways. I think about 7.5 miles from our start was our last log jam. Not too far past that red covered bridge that we hit. I forget the name of the road. Opened up, widened up, deeper water. So we've been able to make a little bit of time. 10 miles now, a little over 10. It's a little after 3 o'clock. Oh, we got nice water again. Probably around 5 o'clock or so. And about 14 miles in. Maybe another mile to graph. .9 miles. 7 hours, 48 minutes. That's crazy. Oh well, what are you gonna do? At least we got water to paddle. A couple of deer bouncing across. Can hear the road traffic off back behind us. I don't know what it's like thousands of these little white, back there, I don't know if they're microscopic bugs or they don't seem to be floating around like pollen or something. But there's just hundreds of them everywhere. Very pretty. Gotta start seriously thinking about where we're gonna put these hammocks though. .30, 34 degrees. River is right down that way. Just down that bank. I am still in the muck. My knee is killing me. And I gotta get up and make some coffee. And some oats and grits and blueberry granola. I'm still hungry. So I think I'll actually eat a breakfast before I move on the river. Try to get some movement through my knee and see how that works out. I'm not very optimistic though. This is a welcome change from yesterday. I actually have a little bit of flow. I'm flowing at almost 1 mile per hour. So nice. It's after 9 o'clock and I don't have high hopes for the day. I'm hoping I don't hit any log jams before I get to Sydney. If I hit any log jams, then that'll be very, very bad, because I cannot crawl around on one leg. When we get to Sydney, that's where the dams begin. I'll have to see just how bad the portages are. See if my knee swells up again just from walking around on it this morning and breaking camp, taking the kayak down to the water. But whatever happens, this moment right now is beautiful. It's a road right over to the right. Not sure what the name of it is, but we got some houses up ahead. Little touch of civilization, I guess. Looks like the house enjoys the river though. They got a nice overhanging deck built out on the river's bank. Be able to sit out and enjoy it. Hey, can you hear that?
No. Water?
Yeah, I think we're in a beaver pond. I think he's got it dammed up around that bend.
You can hear the water.
Here, stop pedaling. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. Maybe. Dude, that looks like a log all the way across the river right there.
That could be size of the too.
Yeah, it could be. Making all the ruckus. I don't care how industrious the beaver is, he didn't move that 40-foot log there across the river. Yeah. All right, take a peek at the left, I'll take a peek at the right. Yeah, I see it right over that log there. Yeah, it looks like it's running over a few rocks. I think I'm just gonna run it. Yeah, I might scrape and bounce a little bit, but if I could stay in my boat and off of my leg, I'd rather do that. Of course, if I flip over and get washed, then so much for that whole theory. Oh, come on. Yeah, that was free. Happening. Getting a little cockeyed now. Let's go, actually. If you hit that log in that V, be careful, because it's going to want to roll you over to the right. You really have to put all your weight and effort on the left. Yeah, you got to use your paddle like a cane pole. Got to push off of that. I'm sure he does not want to get wet again today. Oh, that's a beautiful stretch. I'm just going to make the most of it and coming to grips with the fact that this L2R connection for this calendar year came to an end yesterday when I twisted my knee. There's no way I could push on for the next 2 days and then do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday again next week. But who knows, maybe once I pull out of here, spend a day in bed with it elevated and iced. Doctor says it's just a sprain. Maybe it'll go away in a few days. Who knows? Either way, I'm just going to enjoy this day regardless of what the outcome for the rest of the days are. Yeah, over there against the far bank, it looks deeper, but everything's mounded in the center. Even though that wasn't a beaver dam, and that log held back a whole lot of water. I mean, I'm only floating on like 8 inches right now. Not even. Yeah. Are you touching bottom? I can see every little clamshell and everything on the bottom though. Tucked away right down there at river's edge behind that log. Oh, found her a good height spot. A little bit of a breeze. Hey, there's my kingfisher. There's a little downy woodpecker up in that other tree to the right. It's so nice to hear the wind whistle through the trees. I purposely tried to hit that V on the other side of that little rock. Didn't work out though. Still got a little flow. All it takes is just a fist-sized rock to hold me up when the water's this shallow. It's risen and fallen probably anywhere from 6 inches to 18 inches, but been able to float it all. Haven't had to get out yet. Hopefully it stays that way all the way to Sydney. So what is the name of that bird? An anahinga?
Yeah, but I don't know if that is. It looks like one. Looks too small though.
Really? It's definitely some kind of fishing duck.
Yeah.
Fishing bird, I should say. Black in color. About the size of a duck. I think I had that,
It looks like an anahinga though.
yeah. Absolutely beautiful through this stretch. Sun dancing on the water. Water's moving a little bit. About 7 miles into it. Got a heron over on the right. Over here. There he goes. Taking off. He did not like anybody getting close. So probably going to go over to Sydney, about 5 miles away, take out. Call it a day, see what happens. Regroup, replan. That's just a shame. It's an absolutely picture perfect day. Got some hills going on now. Red-tailed hawk up there. Yeah, I haven't seen an eagle in a while. This adds a new dimension to it. Big hills on that side. It's only 4 feet above the water level on the right side. Yep. All right. Water's like crystal clear. Little frothy though. The size of these logs and the fact that they're stacked on top of each other kind of gives an idea of the force of the water that comes down through here during a heavy flood. Oh, it's just a squirrel bouncing around. This one was bouncing through the leaves. But we've seen some massive log piles around bends, so it'd be interesting to see what the highest flood stage was on this river for this calendar year. The hills are gone on the left side. Back to almost even terrain with the right side. Looks like the hills are just farther back away from the river. All the flow is gone out of the water now. I've got a dam a couple miles up at I think the 128.5 mile marker. And those mile markers start at 156 up at the spillway where the Great Miami starts as a trickle, meets up with a couple creek, and takes on a little bit more water. So that 28-mile difference, I don't know if somebody's paddled that before or how that came about, but I've got more than 28 miles from that spillway to the dam once I get there. So now the beautiful little river lost some of its quaintness. Widens out really wide, obviously because of the dam not too far ahead. A lot of the wildlife has just disappeared. I haven't seen any kingfisher, any heron, any eagle, any deer. I haven't really seen a whole lot of anything since the water just got deep and murky. Well, I guess this is the dam that I had marked in Sydney. Or evac. I haven't had any cell phone coverage, so I don't know what the mileage is to this point. From the top at the spillway, the 156 marker. Man, it's a nasty place. As far as taking out right here anyways. See anything official. See a path in the woods over there, probably that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, I thought they would have some kind of takeout before a dam. I have to look on the website, the Great Miami Water Trail website, see what it says. But it might have just said portage right. So it doesn't actually have to have a launch, just a portage. All right, so I'm going to turn this camera off. I'm just going to go over there, pull up under that grass, go down by the parking lot, and then try to pull up Life 360 or give her a call, see where she's at, and make a plan from there.
Yeah, I'll pull out with you, right?
Yeah. So we are here at Johnston Park in Sydney. That other dam that I had pegged was like, I don't know, maybe a mile or so down. Angie was already there, didn't want to wait for us to paddle down to that one, so she's just going to come down here to this parking lot. Talked to some guy who said that he was inspecting this. He has something to do with maintaining it, I guess. Fighting the city to take it out. They want to keep it. The city wants to remove it. Had a little discussion about low-head dams and things in a very nice and respectful way. And try to see both sides of it. But there is a water club boat club that's over there in that greenhouse through the trees that has an actual boat launch. And that's why they put this dam here, is to raise the levels over there so that they could jet ski and stuff for a couple miles up and down the river right here at their boat club. Oh, and the white workhorse is here. All right, adios. We'll see how this plays out. See how the knee investigation plays out.